My name is Pineapple, and this is my very weird theory on
the Naught point.
So first we've got to get something straight, such as, what is nothing? It's a slightly hard concept to grasp, but nothing is just nothing, because it's nothing. Where is nothing, you may ask? Well, nothing is outside of everything. We can get this information because if we go back to the Big Bang, we can realize that before everything, there was nothing. But there was a single point. That single point expanded and expanded and expanded, and eventually it became the universe. But that nothing didn't disappear. The nothing is still around the universe. Actually, there is nothing inside the universe as well. In fact, 99.9% of the universe is just nothing. However, because there is still something within the nothing that creates the universe, that is enough to create what is everything. We also need to know what is inside of the smallest thing, and inside of the smallest thing, I believe, is nothing. This is because, how is it possible to get smaller than the smallest thing? The smallest thing is just a shell for nothing. So if you were to go into the smallest thing, you would technically be in nothing, which is the same as going out of the universe. Outside of the barrier of the universe, you'll also be in nothing. The same nothing that is inside of the smallest thing in the universe. Now, if we apply this knowledge to a star that is about to collapse under its own gravity, we have to look at the center of the star at its smallies. Now, these smallies are under so much pressure that they start to push into each other, and they push and push until one of the smallies break, and the smallie next to that smallie would fall into the broken smallie, into nothing. This creates a point, an access point into the larger space of nothing. So now, all of the matter around that smallie, the broken smallie, would fall into that broken smallie, and constantly fall in, because it's like a bucket, and if you could poke a hole in the bucket, then all the water will start flowing out. That is the same as this hole in the smallie. This broken smallie is a singularity, and a singularity creates a black hole. Now remember, inside of the smallest smallies there is nothing, and that means that everything, all the matter from the star and everything around the star would start being sucked in to nothing through the singularity. Now, remember, our universe is 99.9% nothing. Only a little bit of matter is required to create a universe. So, if we get only a little bit of matter, so the matter that's fallen through the singularity into nothing, technically, when it's mixed in with the nothing, then that's a pocket universe that has been made from our universe. It's made of the same matter that was in our universe, but now it's in this pocket universe, which was sent via a black hole. This diagram should help explain this to you. I know, it's confusing. So this is basically like the multiverse, but also not at all like the multiverse, because the multiverse has stuff to do with time and us changing and creating different universes by our actions. That's something completely different, and it is not related to this pocket universe theory. So we're done with the first theory. That theory is more truthful. I believe it has more potential. But this next theory is mainly skepticism based on this theory and the Big Bang theory. Okay, so we need to know things to do with dimensions. You may think that dimensions are different realms because that's how they're portrayed in movies. However, dimensions are actually very mathematical. They are basically just height, width, and length. So the third dimension is our dimension. We have height, width, and length. The second dimension is only width and length, not height. There's no height, only width and length. So if you were to look at it side on, you wouldn't see anything because there's no height. And the first dimension is only length or only width. It's one or the other. So you wouldn't be able to see it at all, because if you were to look at it from the side, you couldn't see it because there's no height. And if you were to look at it from the top, you couldn't see it because there's no width or length. Now the fourth dimension we can't perceive because to try and think of something apart from height, width and length is too complicated for our brains. And once again, portrayed in movies a lot, time is often misunderstood as a dimension. Time is not a dimension. It is to do with time and space. That's a different thing completely. It's maybe hard to fathom, but in fact, our universe is basically made up of every single dimension, but we only live in the third dimension. There is a second dimension, it's just that other things are in the second dimension. Like there might be second dimension life forms that can't see they won't be able to see us, or one dimensional life forms, they'll only be able to see their 2D plane, which is quite cool, I believe. Same as one dimensional, same as 4-dimensional, yeah. Alright, now I'm gonna stop waffling and I'm gonna get into the theory. Alright, so before the Big Bang, there was nothing. And now, before nothing, there was everything. An infinite dimension. And that's when everything is equal to the properties of nothing. So what everything was then is what nothing is now. However, this is extremely unstable, so this would have only lasted for 1 Planck second. A Planck second is like the shortest possible time in the universe. And so then the universe, the infinite dimension, would have broken up instantly, and a bunch of dark matter would have collapsed because of that immense amount of gravity. And this would also have caused like dimensions to split apart, dimensions to take form, and as well as matter. So matter would have been falling towards a central point. This central point would have gotten more and more compact. The pressure would have built up in the center, and as it happens in our universe, that would create a huge black hole. And from this infinite dimension universe, on the other side of the black hole would be a white hole into nothing. In the newly formed nothing is a new pocket universe that has been blasted out via a white hole. This newly formed universe will eventually become bigger and bigger and bigger from the infinite dimension, because it's being constantly fed in by the infinite dimension. So that new universe will get bigger, and eventually its own black holes will form to create its own pocket universes. So from that universe, more pocket universes are created, and that chain will keep on going. Those new pocket universes will be getting bigger and bigger until until now. And eventually along that chain, our universe would be made. I don't know if it's the first universe that was made, or it might even be the current universe that has been made. So the reason we get such high readings when we look at the beginning of our universe, and we think that there's a huge explosion, there was a huge explosion, That huge explosion was from a white hole, a newly formed white hole that was made via a star collapsing in another universe, which created a black hole, which created a white hole in nothing, and out came all the matter, which formed our universe in a huge pulse of energy. That is why we get such high readings when we look back at the beginning of the universe, and why we are still getting a lot of energy.
But that's just a theory, a reality theory. Thanks for watching.